everyone, I'm Glamourina Lune, in case you're new here. Welcome to another spine-tingling Sunday. So today I wanted to talk about another incident that I had when I was really little. I had just moved into a place that it turned out was haunted, and I had some really weird experiences there, so I just thought it might be fun to share it. So this story begins when I was about 7. My mom had just gotten married and we moved into this new home. It was this beautiful red brick house and I was really excited to live here. So pretty much from day one, weird things started happening. I remember when we were moving all of our stuff in, and I think I was outside playing or something, and my grandmother was sitting in the living room. They were getting all the cleaning supplies in there, and there was this huge vacuum cleaner. It was like this really old-fashioned one that was sitting inside the hallway. Well, when my grandmother was sitting in the living room, she saw something out of the corner of her eye, like a shadow. Nobody else was inside the house at that point. My mom was outside like looking through stuff and I was outside playing. So she saw this shadow move, and then suddenly the vacuum cleaner, she says, kind of like jumped up into the air, sort of. So I mean, I wasn't there, I didn't see it, but that's what my grandmother says, and I don't know why she would lie about that. It really doesn't make any sense. So that's what she says happened. Though, you know, it was one of those things where I think my mom, when my grandmother told us this, she didn't really put much stock into it. My mom at the time wasn't really a believer of ghosts. She didn't think that they existed, so she just kind of thought my grandma was being zany and weird. So we just didn't really think about it. And they didn't tell me at that time because I was really little and I'm sure they didn't want to scare me. So as time went on, we all started having our own experiences there, but we weren't telling each other. I remember being in the living room, sitting on the floor, doing my homework and feeling like if somebody was staring at me, like this intense feeling of being stared at and watched, and it was so terrifying. And every time I would look up, nobody was there. It's just one of those things where you can just feel it, like eyes are on you. And I kind of would just brush it off, and I mean, when you're a kid, you're scared, but you don't really want to tell anybody and you don't really know what to do with it. So I kind of just thought it was my imagination or something, or I don't know. So my dad at the time, so my stepdad, he would wake up at about 5 or 6 in the morning to go to work. And he said that one time when he was in the bathroom getting ready, he heard somebody calling him. And when he looked out, nobody was there. He saw some sort of shadow figure in the room or something like that. So it was just really strange. I think with him, it was a lot of like shadow figures and stuff. And when my mom, this particular experience that my mom had really creeped me out. One time she said that she was in the shower and she would always listen to music as she was in the shower. So she had this radio on. This was like back in the day. There was no cell phones or anything like that to listen to music. So she had like this old-fashioned radio on. And she said that when she was in there, suddenly the music just got really, really low, so she couldn't hear it. And then it got super loud and then really low again. And like when she stepped out, it just went back to normal. So that was really strange. And then one time there was this closet in the living room. And my mom had decided to put something up on the top shelf or something like that. So when they went up there, or when she went up there on a little step stool, she looked up and there was like this little door, I guess, that led to some sort of crawl space or something. And when they pushed it, they said that they saw these little red handprints on there, which, I mean, you know, it could have been kids maybe with paint or something, but it was still really creepy. That's one where it's explainable, but coupled with everything else that was happening at the time, it was just extra creepy. So for me, in my time there, it just felt like it was just this constant feeling of being watched, being stared at all of the time. And when I lived there, it was really strange. I had a couple of incidents where I was sleepwalking, and before that and after that, I've never experienced that again. But I think if I had been a little bit older at the time, I would have thought to do some sort of EVP session or something. But you know, at this time I was 7 years old, so there wasn't much that I could do. I just knew that I was always terrified, especially at night. I had my own room, and it wasn't one of those things where I was scared of the dark, because I wasn't scared of the dark before living in this home, and I wasn't scared of the dark after living in this home. But there was just always this feeling of somebody with me in the room, somebody watching me as I slept, and it didn't feel like a good presence. It didn't feel like a good spirit in any way. And my mom, she started to get really scared because she could just feel it when that whole incident with the radio, when she was in the shower, and a lot of things just happening out of the corner of your eye. It was shadow figures, and honestly, I feel like my mom and my stepdad at the time, there was a lot of anger between them. And it might have just been normal human things, but I feel like the energy in there kind of added to it. So my mom ended up getting a priest to come bless the home, and after that, I don't remember if it felt any different. I just remember we moved shortly after that, so that was the end of that. And I wonder to this day, if we had lived there longer, because we lived there for such a short amount of time, if we had lived there longer, I wonder if more would have happened. If I was older, if I could understand it more or something, if I had been older. But I always think about this home. I always think about what I experienced there and just the feeling. I've lived in another house that was haunted, I think honestly because of me. I brought that into that home, but it's just different, the energy you can feel in a home. And the home I live in now, I don't feel that at all. I don't feel anything watching me or anything like that. So I think to be so young and to feel that, there was something wrong with that house. And I hope that the people that moved in there didn't experience the same things that we did. I hope that when my mom got the priest to come in and bless the home, that it purged it, but I really don't know. So I just wanted to share that little tale today about another incident I had when I was younger. And if you've experienced any creepy things or spirits or anything like that, please leave your story down below, because I am insane about haunted houses and tales of ghosts and spirits, and I love to hear other people's experiences. So please leave that down below if you've had any of those. And I think that's it. Join me next week for another tale of blood, death, and the supernatural. Bye guys.